you'd be forgiven for thinking artificial intelligence appeared overnight. It certainly feels like that. A decade ago, it was confined to tech labs with a few headlines popping up occasionally, but now it's everywhere. It's as though one day we were living normal lives and then suddenly, out of nowhere, our phones and laptops were generating essays, pictures, videos, music, and solving problems with human-like intelligence. But that's just an illusion, or at least it's just the surface level snapshot that most people see. In reality, AI's story stretches back over 80 years, and it's a fascinating tale of human ambition, persistence, failure, and discovery. So today I want to take you on that journey. From the moment the foundations of artificial intelligence were laid back in 1943 to its centenary in 2043, 17 years from where we are now. This is layered future after all. So the first 80 years I'll cover a history, observed facts and events that chart the course this technology has taken. And while the final 20 are speculative, they're not sci-fi predictions. Instead, they're plausible continuations of the pathways we're already following. Because understanding where AI is going doesn't require a time machine. It just needs some knowledge about where it came from and a glimpse at the roadmap we've been following since 1943. If you use AI but don't know about its origin story, this video is for you. Let's dive in. In 1943, two researchers, Warren McCulloch and Walter Pitts, published a paper that was set to make history. They proposed something astonishing, that the behaviour of brain cells could be represented mathematically. Back then, this was an outlandish, groundbreaking idea. To be clear, at this stage, nobody had built an intelligent machine. They hadn't either. But their suggestion that intelligence itself might be something that could be recreated outside of biology was pretty far out. And although they clearly believed this was a possibility, they could have barely imagined where that simple idea would eventually lead. A few years later, British polymath Alan Turing asked what is perhaps the most famous and important question in computing: can machines think? But rather than debating what intelligence actually is, he proposed something much more practical. He argued that if we couldn't reliably distinguish a machine from a human through conversation, then perhaps that was a more useful definition of intelligence. The Turing test eventually became one of the earliest and most influential benchmarks for machine intelligence. Then, in the summer of 1956, a small group of scientists gathered at Dartmouth College in the US. During that workshop, American computer scientist John McCarthy actually coined the term artificial intelligence. The project finally had a name and the mission was underway. I think we should pause here to reflect on what this all means in the grand scheme of things. Humans are, to the best of our knowledge, the most intelligent life in the known universe. So we should view this in context. It was the 1950s, a world still reeling from a second global conflict, and humanity suddenly declares its intention to build intelligence itself. The plan was extraordinary and optimism was high. At this point, many researchers believed intelligent machines were only a couple of decades away. And had that played out, we'd have had AI in the 1970s. But reality had other plans. During much of this time, computers were painfully slow. Memory was tiny, data barely existed, and the dream was much bigger than what the technology at the time could actually achieve. As a result, progress stalled and funding disappeared. Researchers refer to these periods as AI winters. Entire fields of research almost vanished as funding was redirected to other areas of scientific development that promised results. But despite these setbacks, the idea refused to die. For decades, scientists continued to slowly lay foundations behind the scenes. The incredible prospect of machines that could think was just too big to be put to bed. And sometimes the most important breakthroughs happen when nobody's watching. The 1990s brought an important and deeply symbolic moment. IBM's Deep Blue supercomputer defeated world chess champion Garry Kasparov. It's hard to overstate the significance of this moment, but living as we do in an age of technological wonder, it's easy to downplay these seismic events. For the first time in history, millions of people witnessed a machine outperforming one of humanity's greatest thinkers. Or, put another way, a computer had outthought biology for the first time. In my mind, this was AI's true birth, the moment it emerged, even in a basic sense, into our world and made itself known to the masses. Even though Deep Blue won through brute force calculation rather than the true learning today's AI is driven by, it was still a significant event. And importantly, this was the first time a computer challenged our superiority in the field of raw intelligence. I don't need to tell you that the internet has changed everything about how we live our lives. But a lot of people don't realise that it's been a hugely powerful and essential catalyst in the intelligence revolution. In just a few short years, computers suddenly had access to enormous amounts of human knowledge. Meanwhile, computer technology was moving on in leaps and bounds. More powerful graphics processors allowed neural networks to grow dramatically larger, and researchers discovered that bigger AI models trained on bigger datasets produced surprisingly capable systems. If Deep Blue beating Kasparov was the birth, then this is the stage that AI really began to grow up. Machine learning accelerated and speech recognition progressed. Translation improved and image recognition became notably better. Then came DeepMind's AlphaGo. It was an AI system that was designed to beat human players at the game of Go. The events that followed are really important because many experts believed that the game of Go would fox computers for decades. Go is a highly complex game with an unimaginably large number of possible moves. Far too many for computers to calculate and select the right move to beat the best human Go players in real time. But AI mastered it years earlier than expected, beating Lee Sedol in 2016. The pace of progress was changing and excitement in the field of artificial intelligence was mounting. And not only in the clinical testing grounds of research labs, but in the minds of venture capitalists. A whole new industry was about to go live. For many, 2022 was the year that AI really entered our lives, the year that marked the launch of ChatGPT. Millions of people quickly realized this was a very different kind of technological development. It was the first time individuals could have a fluid, nuanced conversation with a machine that seemed to genuinely understand and reason. ChatGPT may well be remembered as being the first contact people had with AI. It was certainly the moment artificial intelligence started to become a part of many people's everyday lives. Since ChatGPT launched, progress has been relentless. Every few months, AI models become faster, cheaper, and much more capable. They can reason more effectively and they can generate more realistic images. They can produce convincing videos and write functional software. They can translate languages, tutor students, assist doctors, and support scientists. Importantly, this isn't just one technology improving. AI's ability to impact other areas of development has far-reaching effects. This is another point that many people miss, which is a shame because it's the thing that everyone really needs to understand. AI is becoming the tool to accelerate the evolution of almost every other technology. And for the first time in history, intelligence itself has started to be industrialized. Okay, so now we're going to look ahead into the future. Clearly nobody knows what happens next, and anyone who says with certainty that they do is lying. But history does give us some pretty good clues. Every major technological revolution has reshaped civilization. Agriculture changed how we lived and industry changed how we worked. Computers have already changed how we communicate with each other, process information, and share knowledge. Right now it seems highly likely that artificial intelligence has the power to change how we think. AI won't simply discover new medicines or write our emails for us. It will help discover better materials that will revolutionize many of our tools, changing our capabilities as a species. AI's huge potential makes it capable of beginning a chain of events that improves multiple areas. For example, AI helps us create better materials, which will help us to create better batteries. Better batteries will create better robots, and better robots will gather more data. More data will help us build better AI, and better AI will make the next breakthrough arrive much sooner. If current trends continue, AI will almost certainly help scientists make some significant discoveries. New medicines will arrive faster, and our quality of life could improve as a result. Personal AI assistants may become our permanent companions. In fact, the notion of solo thinking could soon be seen as rather old-fashioned. The future of cognition is gearing up to be one of hybrid intelligence, machines and biology working together to solve problems. Education may be one of the first industries to be fundamentally reinvented. New ways of learning and new visions for what needs to be learnt will likely arise. Governments will almost certainly come to rely on AI for strategic planning and decision making, which can only impact all of our lives. And businesses may consist of much smaller groups of individuals directing enormous AI workforces. Look, there are a lot of unknowns and a multitude of directions AI could take us, but one thing seems certain. We're heading into a period where intelligence becomes part of the infrastructure of civilization itself. I've heard many people say that artificial intelligence is overhyped, but I think that most people outside of the AI industry are actually underhyping this technology. Ask yourself a simple question: has humanity ever invented a tool capable of improving almost every other technology at the same time? I'm not a historian, but I know enough to feel confident in saying to you that the answer is no. From a mathematical paper published in 1943 to a world transformed 100 years later. Throughout this time, humanity has been trying to solve the same problem. Everything you've seen in this video, from McCulloch and Pitts to ChatGPT, has really been one continuous project. But I'm not certain that the first century of AI will be remembered as the moment that machines became intelligent. I think it will be seen as the moment civilization entered a completely new phase of its evolution. And if that's true, we're only just at the beginning. If you're interested in the direction of AI and how technology can impact the human experience, then you've found the right channel. Layered Future is a project that seeks to explore where we're heading through what we can learn from the past and what we can already see coming down the tracks in the years to come. I only ever create videos that focus on how technology impacts us as individuals and a society. There are loads of other channels out there exploring the technicalities of technology. This one doesn't. Everything that I explore is really about one simple question: how does technology change what it means to be human? Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future.